Hello, this is Manikumar Uppala of CSIT-A, having roll number 2295183352. Today's my concept video in Python is control input and output. Taking control input in Python. What is console in Python? Console, also called shell, is basically a command line interpreter that takes input from the user, i.e., on one line command at a time and interprets it. If it is error-free, then it runs the command and gives required output, otherwise shows the error message. A Python console looks like this. Here we write a command, and to execute the command just press enter key and your command will be interpreted. For coding in Python, you must know the basics of the console used in Python. The primary prompt of the Python console is the three greater than symbols. Here you can see in the top. You are free to write the next command on the shell only when these prompts have appeared after executing the first command. The Python console accepts commands in Python that you write after the prompt. Here, if you check upper picture, there is a "Hi everyone" in Java code given in the input, and we got the output at single quote in the "Hi everyone." Accepting input from console, user enters the values in the console, and that value is that used in the program as it was required. To take input from the user, we must make use of a built-in function inputs. We can also typecast this input to integer, float, or string by specifying the input function inside the type. If you see the upper picture, input is the input1 equals to input open bracket and close bracket is a console input which user wants to give, and we get the output which was given by the user or console input. The coding will be print slash open bracket input 1 close bracket. Then we get the output of user defined function. Number 1, typecasting the input to integer. If your key is number 1 as a name and the value is int input open bracket and close bracket, then it is a user defined integer which will be user should be the entered the value, and the key is and the number 2 key, that number num2 equals to int input open bracket close bracket. Then print num1 plus num2. It means we get the output as the user which is entered number 1 and number 2 is console inputs. So we get the output of number 1 and number 2 of given input. There might be conditions when you might require integer input from the user console. The following code takes two input integer or float from the console and typecast them to an integer, then print the sum. Here you can see we get the we have to input the only integers because we have mentioned it above int input in the following diagram. Number 2, typecasting the input to float. To convert the input to float, the following code will work out. Input as number 1 equals to float input. Number 2 equals to float input. Now the two inputs has been given by the user and the output will be print number 1 plus number 2. It means the sum of the float will be printed of given values. Number 3. Typecasting the input to strings. All kinds of input can be converted to string type whether they are float or integer. We make use of integer keyword string for typecasting. We can also take input string by just writing input function. By default it makes the input string. In the following figure, the input is string equals to str input. It means it only takes string, and output, if you want, then print string is a code of output, or by default string underscore default equals to input output print string default. Then we get the string which we have given or user defined. Console outputs. Console output. When you execute console output now with arithmetic operations, if you have console output, the compiler sees 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 and interpret it as 2 plus 3 and plus 4 and plus 5. Similarly, the compiler says std colon colon cout less than 3 less than 4 less than 5. std colon colon cout colon colon 3 colon 4 colon 5. Console outputs. We start with open bracket std colon colon cout less than 3 close bracket less than 4 close bracket less than 5 and colon. Here the appropriate routines for printing the integer 3 are called, and in reference to std colon colon cout is return colon open bracket std colon colon cout close less than 4 close bracket less than 5 colon. Next, the appropriate routines for printing the integer 4 are called, and reference to a string colon colon count is return colon std colon colon cout colon less than 5 colon. Again, the appropriate routines for printing the integer 5 are called. The final output is 345 345. It means if you give 345, then it takes 3 less than 4 and less than 5. It takes in a bracket console output. It is common to use one line of output per statement. Input std colon colon cout less than and a statement given by the user less than std colon colon and l std colon colon cout less than and the statement given by the user less than std colon colon and l std colon colon cout less than the third statement given by the user less than std colon colon and l std colon colon cout less than and a statement given by the fourth statement given by the user colon colon less than std colon colon and l, and it is the type which we give in the, it is like print statement, but it comes like in second line. If you give it like st dot colon colon cout, then it comes to every line which we give. Now in the output we can see every statement which are given by the user. That is your imagination or something, because it's given by the by this. My presentation on console input and output has completed successfully. Thanking you. It's me, Uppala Manikma, signing off.